Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for April 6th, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, with analysis for the current session. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. One thing we noticed, at least with regards over month-to-month pivots here, is the fact that price had trended steadily higher throughout the month of March. From the first trading day of March, that was the low there, and we continued higher throughout the rest of the month here. That created very wide pivots for the upcoming month. This is the monthly or the April pivot range. And what that usually implies is that we could see trading range behavior. Again, that's been the primary idea ever since we hit 61s, is once we hit 61s, yes, we may see a little bit more upside, but you're likely going to see price trade and get stuck in the mud here. And that's what we're doing right now. We're seeing the early wave of weakness. After that early wave of weakness, we'll see where the low comes in, and from there we'll likely see a move into 2077.5 and perhaps develop some sort of trading range around there. At the moment, the previous month's close is going to be very important as 2051.5. Price went offered through that level, and then you can see bears are attempting to keep prices offered there on a pullback for a shot at seeing further downside price discovery into 2022 and perhaps 2009. So right now, that's the early pivot, is 2051.5. Below that implies a continuation downward. Above it squeezes into 2077.5 and beyond. But right now, the expectation is because we're below that level, we're still seeking downward price discovery short term until price can reestablish itself back above that pivot. So if we look at the ES in a daily time, in the intraday time frame, you can see the previous session here, we were looking for some sort of a late day squeeze. Or at least a morning squeeze, and it didn't really happen. Once price got to trading back and forth, we knew that this thing was kind of a range-bound, fade the edges type of day. And now we have a clear 50-51 zone up here where prices have traded significantly over the last day plus. If price pushes back above those 51s here, we could see a nice reversal back towards 65.5 and 67, and perhaps even higher. So again, very important level at the 51s here to watch out for. Failure to get above that zone implies a price discovery to the downside. Okay, taking a look here at crude oil. Crude oil in the daily time frame has seen a steady continuation to the downside, nearly reaching our target. This was our primary target, 35.17, and we got several ticks away from reaching that target. I talked about the previous week's low being very, very important. Bears were looking to defend for a continuation. Above that low was going to lead to a big retest at 37.50 to 37.65. That is an important area right there to watch out for. Bears want to keep that zone offered for a continuation lower. Above 65 squeezes back to 40. So this is going to be very important to see how this plays out. It's coming into this LVN from below. Typically speaking, that's an area to defend for additional selling pressure into the next major pivot below, which could be down into 32.51. So right here, this is going to be something we'll be watching out for. On the short-term basis, we reached our target. And this is what we were looking for the previous session, but we didn't get it until late in the day and overnight. We were watching for this trading range behavior here to manifest itself back up into 5-day VPOC at 36.98. Of course, that happened late in the session yesterday, and then the overnight gap and the completion of that move overnight in pre-market. So we finally reached that target. Now again, 37.50 to 65 is up here, so we could see a little bit more strength here. But again, once you get to the top of 5-day value here and you get into the zone, I would expect bears to come in and defend for a return back lower. Right now, any pullback into 36s after seeing a flush up, this could be an area where bulls want to redefend for a shot at seeing a push even higher. So those are a couple of action areas. Bulls want to defend 36s. Bears want to defend 37.50 to 37.65. And we'll see how this thing plays out. Overall, as long as price remains below 37.65 on a higher time frame basis, price should continue to see weakness off that zone. Okay, taking a look at gold futures. Gold futures has been trading very nicely according to our analysis all month and week long, and for the most part the entire year. But right here we've seen a short-term downtrend. We've seen prices kind of hold in this zone here, very short term, and obviously after the rejections above the 1270s, we've seen nothing but downtrending behavior. And now we're sitting right on support after a significant up move. We've basically seen, nearly 2 full months of distribution on highs. So I think the downside support zones are at risk right now. They're at risk. You have bulls that have come in and defended. That means there are increased inventory of sell stops below. Pushing through those sell stops and through composite value opens a pathway back to 1095. So this is going to be important. You have your clear pivot here. Bulls are defending here. First shot at pushing up. Failure to hold it opens a move downward. Given the downtrending market right now, especially below 1245, 1247, that would imply further downside price discovery, but we got to wait to see how price responds at these levels. So we got to see that area go offered first. Okay, taking a look at the NQ. Continued uptrending market so far. 4440 and 4355 are the two major pivots to watch out for. So 4440 is a zone where bulls are defending for a potential squeeze. Failure to hold that level opens up a move back into 4355. That's another area where bulls want to defend and squeeze. Otherwise, you likely fall all the way back toward 4076. So those are a couple of swing key levels right there to watch out for. Right now, just trading inside the weekly pivot range. And after a wide range that has developed in a previous trending market, we're now seeing quiet trading behavior, which is not out of the norm. In the intraday chart, you can see here basically prices are holding below 4,500. That's a very important pivot. 4,500 right here. Price is just chopping below that zone, forming a very clear trading range. Above 4,500 squeezes to new highs, but right now defending that zone could open up another round of weakness and a retest back at the 44.41 big time level. As you recall, that was the level back last week where we mentioned that was the last line of support, and then you can see the big time rally that happened off of it. So this is going to be a big time zone here to watch for either a fade opportunity back up or for a downside breach, violation, and a continuation. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.